Welcome back to the weekly Education Pulse. And today we're doing something a little different, a special deep dive into sustainability in schools. Now, sustainability is one of those areas that gets everyone talking, but very few people actually feel confident about it. Is it infrastructure? Is it curriculum? Is it student projects? Is it a long list of expensive upgrades? Well, we're here to demystify the myths and get straight to what works, what doesn't, and what schools can realistically do even tomorrow morning. And I'm joined by a fantastic guest who works hands-on with schools around the world on sustainability strategy and impact, Anja Nielsen.
Thanks, Sami. Great to be here. As Sami said, my name is Anja. I am the Impact and Partnerships Lead at Sustainability at School. We are a small social enterprise working to build a better future for children by reducing the environmental footprint of schools and boosting student and staff leadership for sustainability.
Yeah, thanks again and for joining us today, Anja. And why don't we dive straight into some of these myths? And we start with a big one. There's this assumption that sustainability is all about solar panels, air quality systems, electric buses, and multi-million dollar upgrades. But in reality, and we've seen this in international schools across multiple different regions, the most effective sustainability work starts with people and processes, not infrastructure. In fact, having infrastructure is not enough. Sustainable buildings rely on the behaviour of staff and students to keep them eco-friendly. It's about methodology, establishing a baseline using real data, interviews, and surveys, agreeing measurable goals underpinned by a clear plan of action, setting up structures to ensure accountability, monitoring and celebrating impact. These steps cost very little, if anything at all, but they give you the clarity needed to make smart, affordable decisions.
Absolutely, Sami. And our methodology at Sustainability at School is predicated on coordinated action, not huge investment. Some of the most impactful behavior and cultural change, as you said, cost absolutely nothing, and some will even save you money. For example, one school we work with in Bangkok reduced food waste by 9% through a simple student-led waste campaign. Encouraging mindful eating could therefore save you money on catering. Another international school in India reduced average energy use by about 11% in just a few months by going hard on air conditioning. Turning up the temperature on your AC to 24 degrees and turning the central system on later in the day are just two simple ways to save big. And you can embed sustainability across your curriculum, like using real numbers in maths class rather than abstract figures. This has the added benefit of answering that age-old question, when will I even ever need this?
Fantastic. And well, that leads us into this next myth, whether sustainability needs a huge team, because most schools don't have extra staff sitting around waiting to take on a new remit. In your work with client schools, a pattern seems to emerge. The schools that succeed start with structures and not departments. So that means clear roles, smart objectives, a simple action plan with timeframes, and a shared responsibility. So when people know exactly what the role is, whether they're teachers, facility staff, or student leaders, sustainability shifts from being extra to being managed. And as we all know, nothing happens in a school without a deadline.
Yeah, and in fact, we find that structures are far more effective than specialists. Too often, we see that sustainability is driven by one passionate teacher. These are absolutely leaders who should be celebrated for their amazing initiative, but these teachers need support to prevent burnout, to improve the efficiency and efficacy of initiatives, and to drive buy-in from across the school. That's why at Sustainability at School, a key part of our work is supporting the establishment, coordination, and upskilling of a sustainability action team. This team helps to move sustainability at a school from something that they strive for to something that they do and eventually something that they are.
Yeah, great to hear that, especially when you hear about it being one teacher that's usually leading that change or that initiative. And of course, burnout from what we're seeing from a lot of teachers across the sector. But moving to this next myth, and let's be honest, a lot of schools feel sustainability is a burden, something they should do rather than something that fuels the culture of the school. But again, the data is clear. sustainability becomes a burden only when the school has no clarity. And that is when sustainability is an add-on, not an ethos. When there's no baseline, no targets, and no roadmap, everything feels overwhelming. But when you have one clear focus, a clear plan, measurable objectives and milestones, and whole school buy-in, suddenly it becomes achievable.
Yeah, sustainability doesn't have to be a burden, but we have to use behavior change principles to make it make sense. That means focusing our attention on one achievable outcome that we can measure, not trying to do everything at once. It means making actions easy, time-bound, and social, giving fewer options for impact. Less is more, easy is better, ownership is essential. It's also about tapping into other priorities and values. For instance, in one school we worked with, new AC procedures encouraged teachers to work in the same room so other floors could be switched off after school hours. This not only helped save energy, it also encouraged collaboration. We've also seen the value of sustainability for driving aesthetics. One school we worked with focused their annual campaign on biodiversity. Students got involved in planting native species, learning about plants and animals, while at the same time making their campus more attractive. This approach saw sustainability build student leadership, strengthen the curriculum, and improve the look of the school.
Love it. Love everything we're talking about here. And let's go into this next myth where it's all about the adults. Because sustainability isn't just a staff initiative, it requires a whole school approach, and student agency must be at the heart. And what we've seen globally is that student driven sustainability projects are often the most innovative and impactful. But students can only lead if the school creates space for them to analyze data, set goals, participate in planning, lead actions, and celebrate the impact. This is education for sustainable development in action.
Absolutely. Across the schools we work with, students are leading the way. In one school in the UK, students are leading regular energy audits to see which classrooms are achieving their switch off goals and which are falling behind. The winning class will win a prize at the end of the year. And in a primary school in Dubai, the Sustainability Squad are developing a workshop for younger students to understand waste reduction and separation, to share their knowledge and to drive behavior change. This kind of peer-to-peer learning builds student agency and encourages students belonging in schools. It also helps to foster connections between older and younger students, all while making the school a more sustainable place to thrive.
Yeah, so putting the students at the heart of it can make great changes within schools. And we come to our last myth. And one thing that surprised me when we compare sustainability challenges across schools is how similar the problems really are. Whether it's waste management, energy consumption, food systems, or curriculum integration, the challenges are universal. And that's why your work with schools is so interesting because the patterns repeat. Schools everywhere face the same starting point. Where do we begin?
Every school is unique, and we recognize this through our hands-on approach. But you're absolutely right. Time and again, we hear these top three challenges. So the first is time. There's never enough time in the day, let alone in the school day. Every single school struggles to find the time they would like to give to sustainability. That's why having a clear, simple, time-bound plan with data to hold you accountable and structures to keep you on track is key. Set this up at the beginning of the year and you're on the path to success. The second is overwhelm or trying to do too much. Starting simple is hard when you have so much ambition, but it's essential. If a school tries to focus on, say, 8 different topics at the same time, there's often too much to do and too little impact to stay motivated. Being able to measure and see change in the short term is a huge motivator. That's why we encourage schools to pick one topic and do it well. The final
Absolutely.
challenge is building buy-in. As you said, sustainability can seem a burden, and getting the whole school on board can be a challenge, especially when there are so many competing agendas. That's why we encourage schools to connect sustainability to other objectives like cost savings, or student leadership, curriculum development, and well-being. These are all outcomes of meaningful sustainability action. It's also why it's so critical that the sustainability structures include representation from across the school. Everyone has to be part of the solution.
Yeah. And the one step that every school can take tomorrow, well, if a school is watching this episode and wants concrete step, well, with no budget meeting, no committee, or no major planning, the answer is simple. Take stock of sustainability at your school. This will help you understand where you are on your sustainability journey, what you might want to focus on, and who should be involved. So Anja, can you explain what this means practically?
Absolutely. So there's a few questions you can ask yourself. The first is, what is already happening at my school for sustainability? Do you have a student eco committee? Is there an annual Earth Day celebration? List everything you know of and really take stock of what's going on. Then ask yourself, what are the key sustainability topic or topics we still need to address? Do you see a lot of energy wastage? Are lights left on? Is food going straight in the bin? Does everyone drive to school when buses are available? What are the big issues you could be tackling? And then finally, who do I need to get involved in sustainability action? Think of your head teacher, operations, catering, heads of year. All of these people have a role to play. And once you have the answers to these questions, you can gather those key people together and explain what's already happening and what you'd like to see more of. You can then work together to establish a measurable objective, focusing on an agreed area for action, and then develop a targeted action plan to help you get there. If you need a template, you can download one from the Sustainability at School website to help you get started.
Yeah, thanks, Anja. And here's the most important myth to bust. Sustainability work is thankless. It isn't. Schools that stick with a 3-year plan, collecting data, refining actions, and celebrating progress don't just become greener, they become more collaborative, more student-centered, and more future-focused. And sustainability stops being a burden, it becomes part of the school's identity.
Absolutely. It's so important to celebrate sustainability wins, to set your school up for success, get those measurable objectives and a clear action plan in place. Remember, keep it simple, make it measurable, and get the whole school involved. And if you need a little extra help, you can also reach out to us at Sustainability at School. We'd love to support your school's sustainability journey. You can visit our website or contact me to learn more.
Yeah, and just want to say thank you again, Anja, for joining us this week for this special episode of the Weekly Education Pulse. We'll leave all the links in the description below. And if you found this helpful, subscribe and stay updated on global insights shaping international education. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Sami.